Hi guys, it's Fiber Girl, and I just finished watching the Smallville series finale. I've been watching Smallville since 8th grade. The first season I remember beginning, and I've been there for 10 years, and I will admit there have been some crap seasons in the past 10 years. Crap seasons. But things got so good at the end. They kept putting all these little things throughout this whole season saying, thank you fans for being awesome. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for being there. Like, they had little nods to Wonder Woman. There was even like a line towards Batman, and there's a specific rule that Warner Brothers gave that they're not allowed to have Batman on the show because it would mess up Batman Begins, but they mentioned it earlier. And oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. Sorry, people are wearing their masks. I liked how it started with the comic book. It was a little way before, any clips or anything. There's a little way to say, hey, this is where we came from. In the beginning, it had, and we got to see Pete. That's the only place we saw Pete and the whole thing. But the fact that there was even a hand-drawn picture of Pete, or a drawn picture of Pete, meant a lot. That they're reflecting back on all 10 years, a whole series. Plus, I'm sure they're trying to sell some of their Smallville comics, which they do sell. So I like to know that it's $2.99 in 7 years from now to buy a comic. That's nice. It's super cute that Chloe and Ollie have a son, and I liked it. And the vows for their wedding, Lois and Clark's, were so beautiful, and I liked how the dad was there. I mean, a few times it didn't make as much sense, but it felt like it was kind of like the end of Boy Meets World. And in the end of Boy Meets World, Sean's dad is there the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but he has these little moments where he's there and he's saying, I'm proud of my boys, and making some commentary. And Jonathan did that, and it was nice to have Jonathan back because he was so essential to the entire series. I loved how Clark walked Lois in the aisle because she didn't have her dad. I like squealed. Again, those of you who don't really know who I am very well, I apologize because I talk really, really fast and get very, very excited about my fangirly nerd stuff. I even wore my Superman shirt today because I was just excited that I was getting to experience the end, because I wanted it to end, and I wanted it to end well, because this is supposed to be the beginnings, and he was getting way too far for it to say the beginnings. But anyways. Actually, I wrote like a million statuses, and for those of you who are my Facebook friends, thanks for not deleting me. I was just excited. Yeah. Clips. They used clips throughout the whole thing. I mean, not the whole thing, but a couple times. And I wanted clips. I wanted to see these images that have been a part of all these years, and it's been like to be with the show since I was 11 years old. And yeah, they weren't cheesy the way they use the clips, because sometimes when you do clip shows, they look cheesy and it doesn't float the story. These made sense. This was Jor-El showing him the trials he had gone through, and it was a memory being erased, so they made sense, and they were there. They were good. And I was originally a little bummed that Lex's memory got disappeared. You know what? In the end, that way we get to have two different things to the comics, because depending on the timeline you're going with, some comics where Lex did meet Clark in Smallville, not as heavily, but he had met them, and there's other where he did not know him at all, and now those two live together, and it's like they're finally caring about the story in the comics and the timelines. Speaking of Lex, oh my gosh, my clothes, and I like that it's there, and I like the lines. And I mean, a lot of lines in this were hitting the nail on the head, like, don't need to move on, but don't forget Smallville, and a hero. A villain is only as good as his hero. I mean, admittedly, they're hitting the nail on the head, but I don't care. It's not something to impress someone new. This is saying, yes, this is what our show's been about, and this is our story, and I like that. I like them caring about the end, and it was fantastic to have him back. And we even got to see all these other actors that got to play Lex throughout the course, and that was really nice from the memory wipe. Especially Lucas Grabeel, who did a fantastic job this season. And I met him in person, and he seems super nice, so that's awesome. Okay, I'm spazzing. I liked how Lana was in the clips. It would have been stupid, abso-freaking-stupid, to have Lana there. Would have hated it. Would have hated it. Because it makes no sense. But to have her in the clips in the comic thing, it made sense. It honored her very important part in the beginning of the series. And she was there. And they even showed, like, Lex and Lana's marriage, which was cool, because those were pivotal and important parts. I'm just looking at my sets and seeing what I like. He flew, and he had the suit, and I wish I could have seen a little closer up. There aren't as much close-up with it, but I hope there's some promotional pictures they're going to release, maybe with that fancy DVD set. I have more of it, but it looked awesome, and I'm staring at it, and there's, like, over the planet, and by the plane, and there's things that are like, yes, that is Superman. And Tom Welling will always be my Superman, and to have those images finally, not just something my brain made up, but on the screen, is fantastic. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, the ending. Now, the ending I'd always kind of wanted for a very long time, years and years and years, would be him running, opening things, seeing the suit, and then eventually flying. And flying away as Superman, and, like, maybe cutting to black of him there, but they didn't. But the fact that I was 90% close to what I wanted for the very last scene is awesome. I liked how Tess died. I mean, not that I liked that Tess died, because she grew as a character, but these kind of shows where life or death is part of the game every day, like Angel, Buffy, these kind of things, you know, where that's so much a part of the story. You're fighting evil. People are going to die. You have to have a death. I was glad she was the one to die, and I was glad someone did die, because you're not showing the gravity of turning this boy into Superman if there isn't loss along the way. And there were loss throughout the series, but you have to have it in the end. So you solidify that point. And Tess was the character I dealt with. And the lines Lex said to Tess, even though, you know, Lex and Tess were never together on the show and they brought her in, and I was originally kind of annoyed by her because I wanted Lex back. He's killing her for her own good, and that she doesn't become, and the lines are so truth and powerful, and I love them. And Lex, I was like, why didn't they show the clip in the Flash thing of the prophecy of him being president? Like, it's gonna be part of it. And then 7 years later, which was a fantastic idea, the 7 years later showed Lex elected as president, and Lois and Clark were from the Daily Planet, and they hadn't actually gotten married at the wedding, but it was pretty and all that, and they were showing that they are going to get married, so that's cool. And it also stays pretty true to the comics, because he was Superman before they got married, so it's keeping true to the original story. And speaking of true to the original story, Perry White, editor, and you just saying they didn't have to, and Jimmy was there. Jimmy was there. I don't even freaking care that they killed him off. I hate that they killed him off. That was the season where I'm like, what are you doing to Smallville? Because you can't kill off someone in the comics and someone that's supposed to be there when he's Superman, and I don't care that he's dead. I don't care how he got back from being dead or any of that. Because he was there. And he's in the picture. And I'm happy. So freaking happy that he was there. Okay. These are kind of fun videos for me to show off my family stuff. Not even necessarily for you guys, although, you know, it's fun to share with nerds, because I know there are other nerds out there. But, I mean, just to see things that matter to me and things that were important, because, you know, it was a part of life, and it was really when I was starting to get in to comic book heroes. I've always loved fantasy, and I've always loved sci-fi, and at the core, that's what a comic book story is, depending on which hero. It's either fantasy or sci-fi, or a lot of times in between. I mean, Smallville's had sorcerers and witches and all that kind of stuff. So it's got the fantasy in there. It's part of its world, so it's both. And that's why I gravitate toward it. And I was finally, with 11, so I was finally at the point where I was like, cool, this is cool. And not doing the, this is for boys crap, because I grew up out of that. Okay, I'm sure there's like a bazillion things I want to say that I'm forgetting, because I'm just, it's over. Oh, the music. I loved how they had the music. And the ending, how it's da 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 da. I liked it a lot. It was just, this whole thing saying thank you, I felt like, and all these lines and everything. It's like, we're honoring our fans. We care about our fans, and we care about the comic book storyline that we butchered earlier on. Sorry about that, Jimmy. It was a great ending, and I'm glad I'm still giddy, and I'm not kind of sad, because I was wondering where I'd be, whether I'd be sad or giddy, and because this is my first goodbye this summer. It's Smallville and then Harry Potter, and parts of my life are altering fandom-wise, although I'm a true nerd and will love Smallville forever and have it be part of my collection and watch it and we get into it. I was starting to watch season 1 again to get back into the swing of it before the finale. I've just been running around doing stuff. But yeah, I think some people are going to be upset Kara wasn't there, but she was there last episode, and it did make sense. He's got to become Superman before we can have Supergirl. Okay, guys, I've been rambling. I don't know how much of that was audible. But, thank you, Smallville, for being a part of my life, even dating relationship in high school, and random moments for the last 10 years. I'm 22, and that's so much of my life. That's basically the whole part of my life where I started being able to obsess about the things I want to obsess about and use my money to get things I wanted to get and spend my time doing these things. So thank you for being part of my jump into nerdiness, my true introduction into comic books in that world. It's more than just my brothers watching it on TV, so that seems cool. Making me wanting to read more about the comics, know the histories, and find out all the stuff about it. It's been awesome. Tom Welling, you're my Superman forever. I love my Lois Lane. She's fantastic. And all the ones I've seen since just seem to pale in comparison to her awesomeness. And by the way, I think she won Hottest Girl on TV for one of my Facebook runs from college. So, good on you. Okay, guys, I love you all. God bless. And although I'm super silly, thanks for enjoying the silliness with me. I will see you all for Testimony Tuesday this coming week. Bye.